Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to FMLFPL Milan.
This Walsh.
Happy Halloween, dude.
Oh my God. Happy Halloween, brother.
You just had a hell of a Halloween.
Yeah, I'm still riding high on trick-or-treating with my little Randall Simon son. And it was very fun.
The kiddo,
very
the laddo. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's 2.5, so it was really the first. We didn't do it last year. He was like 1.5. It was too much nonsense, so we just stayed home and handed out candy. But yeah, it was the first year we actually went around the neighborhood, and it was so fucking fun. I actually feel like a real-life dad, like doing stuff with my kid, like besides just like making sure he's not dying.
So what was he dressed up as?
He was a skeleton. He fucking loves skeletons so much.
What's not to love?
We walk my dog like around the neighborhood like, every couple times a day, and everyone has their fucking decorations out of the skeletons. He's just all about the skeletons.
Hell yeah, awesome. Man, let's get into it. We're doing a very late night pod. There's only 2 fucking game weeks left before the World Cup, which is really crazy. But in a weird way, kind of refreshing. I'm like, cool, yeah, the game's starting to feel a little stale. It's like a good time in the season, I think, for everyone to just have unlimited free transfers and change their team, you know?
Very ready to wild card and make 9 changes.
That's what I mean. It's like, it just feels like most people have the same teams. There's like 5 people that everyone's considering for transfers and no one else. And it's like, is what it is. But we're both doing well this week, huh?
Yeah, it's very unusual.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull yours up first here. Yeah, we're looking good here, brother. Yeah,
first week I saved in 2 months, and the first good week I had in 2 months. I wonder if that's a coincidence.
Oh, so interesting. Yeah,
I guess I need a -12 in a way to balance the books. But, yeah, good week. I mean, the only mistake I made, obviously, Dallo benching, but whatevs. All my guys got points for the most part. Obviously, Captain Kev, no brainer. Good job by him.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, hitting out column 2 weeks ago was good, right? That worked.
That worked out. At least Jesus got a 9, but yeah, it was bad. Yeah,
it's just, I mean, he has 24 points in the last 2 game weeks. I just like get him in blanks home Everton, and I'm just so upset, and I just immediately rage hit him out. 5-19. Yeah. And now he's like price rising. Everyone's getting. I'm like, why?
Oh yeah, everyone's.
Why do I do that? Why am I the way that I am? But
why always me, basically.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, good too. Good. I think I got 1 more point than you, so same shit. I didn't save though, so it feels like less of a win. I did a last minute like panic, bring in my boy Harrison Reed, my comfort blanket, but I didn't really need to because Dom played, which I didn't expect. If Dom didn't play, it would have been just a straight up +3, would have been pretty solid. But since Dom played, it's a +1 and pretty meaningless transfer. But
did Sinistera play? I missed that.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I missed the second half of the Liverpool Leeds game, so I'm not sure, but he definitely didn't start.
No, he didn't play, yeah, because he was knocked. That's why he did it, right?
Yeah, I did it there, and I did it because I was like, okay, next week, is when Mitrovic's fixtures turn, and I'm probably going to get Jesus or Darwin. I'll just get the money in now, and just in case I have like only 9 players, it'd be really good to have a fucking 10th or 11th player, which would be Harrison Reed, but everyone ended up playing except Holland and Doc, so no big deal there. Yeah, I'm up 150k. I'm up to 124k. LR asked the question in our Discord. He said, "Why is Alonso good at FPL this season?" I mean,
yeah. What's the answer?
I was kind of gonna ask you. Not that I'm like fishing for compliments, but I wonder what you're seeing that I'm doing differently from most seasons. I think it'll be like almost easier for you to tell than for me to tell.
Well, I think you're being a lot more patient.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I think that's the overarching thing. Like, I've been normal, taking hits, doing stupid shit like usual, but you have been very steady. Like, you're holding your picks who aren't necessarily getting points every week, but like White, I think, is a good example of that, right?
Yep. Just holding.
Obviously, he's not like a great pick. He's not someone that you would advise someone else to get, but you've held him. He hasn't had many clean sheets since you've gotten him, but the couple that he has had, he's gotten a lot of bonus points. So, he's roughly getting the same amount of points as Pope's gotten me,
and it's keeper and that's useless. Yeah.
But it is, but that's kind of, just, you could easily have been like, oh yeah, he's bad fixtures. He's not going to get me any points. Like, how could using a transfer on Guaita to, this keeper with these good fixtures not work? Like, well, then you're not using, those are the kind of things that I think maybe you would have done in years past. But this year, you're just being a lot more steady and patient with your picks. And I think that's probably and like Mitrovic, right? Like, you held him through the blank and then, or through his injury. And then he came in with just like goal. Yeah. That kind of shit, I would say.
Yeah. I think that's what my first instinct was too when I was going to respond. I mean, I've taken one hit all season. That's like unheard of for me, especially after it's easier to not hit when you're just getting a green hour every week. I got a green from game week 5 through 9, but I'm just coming off back-to-back reds. Like, that's usually the type of week where I'm like, I need to fucking make a move. I need to climb back in there or something. And I just fucking chill. Just like, make money, get Harrison Reed, whatever. No Holland, whatever, and that's the main thing. I guess it's just it's working.
I mean,
out.
The reason why you're 124K and not 24K is you won't get rid of Mo, even though I keep telling you he's a bad pick.
Well, he's scoring goals, so why would I get rid of a good pick?
Bad pick.
Why would I get rid of a good pick though? I don't understand that. Yeah. But league updates. So, dude, what a fucking mug month, by the way. There are 1,000 game weeks in October. So shout out to the winners of the October mug, an elusive mug. And by the way, November mug is only 2 game weeks. So
2 chips are going to win it for
anyone can win November mug. That's just a fact. But the winners for October, Scott Hutchby in first place, aka FC Quote or Squote. Klaus Christensen in second, aka Punt the Jewels FPL, and in third, Timmy Cowell, aka Vanilla FC. I'll email all 3 of you for your names and all that address and all that shit. And then shout out to the leader of the FMLFPL Public League, aforementioned Timmy Cowell, wins a mug, and he's top of the Public League. That, I don't know if that's ever been done. Good job by you, Timmy.
I mean, why wouldn't you? Just double dip.
Yeah.
It's a good time to double dip. Yeah, he's one of the Villa fans in Discord. He's pretty quiet. He talks more now that he's fucking beating everyone, but generally.
I think it's like 1,000 overall, so that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we should just begin with Newcastle. I mean, you talked about Callum briefly, but dude, they're just fucking on insane fire. And I think that this question is the best summary of all of it. My name is Alan too, said, should we acknowledge that Newcastle are top 4 contenders and priced like a mid-table team?
I mean, I don't even think mid-table is accurate. Their price is like a bottom 4 team, kind of.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, this is like promotion level pricing.
7.5, right, Callum? Well, I mean, he's gone up, but
no, I mean but their pricing could have been literally a promoted team. Like they had, a 7 million striker, no midfielder over like 6'5", 6, and then all their defenders are like 4'5".
They had 1.50 defender, which is that happens all the time in promoted teams, and yeah, totally, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they look like they're just firing on all cylinders. And, it's the kind of thing that now, especially I think over the last 2 months, not playing in Europe is just such a huge deal. Like we've seen Leicester in years past. Like there's always that 1 or 2 teams who don't play in Europe and just, put in have really good seasons and really good point totals. And, it looks like this is Newcastle's year to do that. I mean, even to their credit, right? I mean, they've had a lot of injuries. I mean, this is not a deep team. Like St. Max, basically. Murphy's
a backup. Yeah. Longstaff's sort of a backup.
Ishak played 2 games. Like St. Max has barely played this season. I mean, their defense has been pretty uninjured, which has been very important for them. Like Trips hasn't gotten injured. He usually gets injured, but they look really good, and they look obviously priced to buy. I mean, most teams have at least 2 of their players in, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, everyone has Trips, so that's like a wash. But I think Pope, Miggy, Callum are all, if not already highly owned, like just keep going up every single week in ownership. So, And that'll, I'm sure, continue after a fucking 4-0 thrashing this week where everyone just returns again. Callum quad return, Miggy double return, another clean, Trips fucking just shitting bonus points for fun like we talked about in preseason. But yeah, I mean, I was just glancing at, XG differential and stuff like that because those are just sort of the best numbers we have. Newcastle third in the league. It's basically Man City gap and then Arsenal and Newcastle gap right now is how that's gone so far this season. Non-penalty XG per 90, Newcastle's fourth. Shots per 90, Newcastle's fourth. Like they're just fucking flying, and we should get their guys. And Chester said, who's the best attacker under 7.5 for the last 2 game weeks? And he said, it's got to be Rashford versus Callum, right? And I just am like, how could like Callum be in the same conversation as Rashford at this point with everything we just said,
It's kind of a tricky one because they're at Southampton and home Chelsea.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they're winnable fixtures on paper for them, but they don't scream like, oh, these are great fixtures.
Yeah.
I still feel like at Southampton is like the most deceptive fixture.
Could
in
be
the
5,
game.
Could be 1. Yeah.
I feel like it's like very much mostly 1.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that we have these, like, it's similar to me, like Everton. Like, I see Everton, I'm like, oh, that's a good fixture. It's not a good fixture for goals. I think that there are some of those where it's like in years past, maybe it like over clouds what we feel like, but God, I'm like coughing still, dude. I've had this cough for like 2 weeks.
I know, dude.
It's killing. I don't know why it won't leave me.
Yeah, I mean, they've only conceded, most they've conceded at home this season is 2 twice. The other home games are 1-1-1-1.
That's insane.
Yeah. In a way, they got 4-1 by Spurs and 4-0 by City. But at home, they've been pretty solid.
But I think that is, they just look great. They're doing everything. So
yeah,
get them in probably.
And Miggy keeps doing it.
Yeah, what are we doing about Miggy here? This is the first week in Discord that it's actually like traction and steam of like people are actively getting him in now.
He hasn't been that highly owned as part of the reason why it hasn't really like killed us at all. It's just like I keep going up. You had a huge green this week when either of us owned Miggy, but yeah, at some point he just puts up like a lot of times with these guys that are, flash in the pan or whatever, the fucking like Lingard, West Ham season, whatever those guys, it's like they're not even putting up the stats. It's like just everything they're hitting goes in. Yeah,
2 shots a game and they're scoring 1.
But like Miggy is a very different case where all the historical data is like he's very bad, but this season he's putting up monster stats. You just can't get around that, and it's tricky with what to do with those because all stats are like a description of what already happened. But it's like basically this whole time I've just been like, yeah, well, he's probably not going to keep putting up superstar numbers, but so far he just is. And so at some point, yeah, I guess just get him. It has been our solution in the past, and have a short leash, which is what we said last week. I don't know.
Yeah, he's only 5'6". Like his last points is 12, 10, 10, 3, 7, 15.
And his numbers in that time, just to read them off because people don't know, is like his shots are 3, 6, 3, only 1 against Man United, 4, 4. His non-penalty XG in that time is 0.4, 0.6, 0.2, 0.1, 0.5, 1. It's just like really fucking good.
And he's obviously not going to continue at a pace of like better than a goal every other game. He's not going to finish with 20 goals this season.
No.
But, he's 5'6". So could he keep going at a rate of 1 and 3? Probably. With these underlings, as long as they continue.
If they keep putting out these kind of numbers, then he will, yeah.
Yeah, and he's not going to get dropped. Like even when they get healthier after the World Cup, he's playing too well to get dropped. So
yeah, I think it's clearly like St. Max left, Callum or Ishak in the middle, and him on the right. Like that is their first choice right now.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you're still team dependent, obviously, but if you have something in that price region and that's your spot, he's obviously a good pick. If you're looking at a sub 6 million, midfielder, right? I mean, yeah.
And if Ashley Young's going to block every shot with his fucking hand, he's just going to keep getting penalty assists. It's just huge.
Poor Smasher.
But back to Chester's question. I mean, what do you think about Rashford versus Callum? Because, the Newcastle fixtures aren't great.
I'm a little bit confused about how that's a question, because that's a forward and a mid, right?
Like, I guess he's using one transfer this week on an attacker or something like that. That's my assumption. But, you know, Man United have Villa and Fulham, but they're both away. Also, I mean, I think Unai is going to definitely like clean them up defensively. I think it's going to be a very like tough team to play against.
Is he going to actually
play?
Is he going to be there finally?
He's supposed to be the coach starting tomorrow, I think.
Okay. I mean, at Villa, if Unai's there and he's been there all week, I mean, they're just going to fucking park to fuckland. That's not. But at Fulham is an amazing fixture for a Rashford game. Like, that is the prototypical Rashford counter-attacking, running at Tim Ream. Like,
I think Fulham is the best attacking fixture.
Yeah. Probably, I mean, not away. You know, home Fulham is probably,
home Fulham better than away Fulham, but still, just like the team you want your attackers playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Villa still do have bad players. Like, I would probably go Rashford over Almiron, because I just feel like the Chelsea game's like a little bit, Chelsea is still better than any of that's the hardest fixture of any of these four. At Southampton, I think is very similar, like at Villa. So I think that at Fulham game is really like a big swing for me when I'm looking at those two in isolation for those two game weeks. Yeah. So I think for those reasons, I would go for Rashford, but I don't think you could go too wrong with either of them. I mean,
you can't go wrong with that. Everyone, it's fucking 2 games. Like, we're picking 2 games. It's such a fucking fuck. But I mean, Rashford just keeps doing it, keeps getting all the chances. Good pick.
Fucking them all up. I mean, Rashford is like the Jesus. Rashford and Jesus are just like, how many chances can we each fuck up per game? They just fucking mind fuck.
I met this friend, and he was new friend met this dude, and he was asking me sort of about like advanced stats in soccer, because he's a baseball guy. And the thing that I told him is like the biggest change from like now to like 10 or 15 years ago is like is that the more repeatable, more valuable skill is getting chances and not scoring them. And I had to explain like XG and be like, there's all these superstars now, Mo, Jesus, whatever. There's tons of them who just get chance after chance after chance and score like even with their XG. And then, 10, 15 years ago, there was way more focus on like finishing, like guys who could like bang them from outside the box and paw land and all that stuff. And that value has just decreased. It's kind of interesting to see it play out in fantasy too. I tweeted a thing that was like, if you're watching one of your attacking FPL players and he's really frustrating, that probably means he's a really good pick.
You'd rather be frustrated than by watching someone who's just invisible and like they just suck. You're not frustrated. You're just like, this is a disaster.
It's like backwards logic, because it's like I'm actively having a bad time right now, but that's good. Let's go to City. Some Haaland questions. It's all a fuck, because we don't know, obviously we don't know anything. And they're, again, the first game of the game week, so everyone's going to have an advantage over us because they're going to see the league team and we're not. But Jeff said hits are bad with only 2 weeks left. Yeah. But if we want to sell Haaland and have other issues, what the fuck do we do? X50 said, long one, he said, given that we're probably not going to get a solid answer from Pep on Haaland's fitness before next game, what do we do with him? Feels bad having a 12 million City asset taking up a slot if he's not going to play, especially if you don't have Kev. In the past, some of us have been burned by holding players through injuries in the hopes that they'll be back soon, trying to protect value / not wasted transfer. Should we learn our lesson and hit him out? And then Ben Gauthier said, unless Haaland has surgery or flies to a specialist somewhere, we're not going to know his status given Pep's baldness. Is it just going to be team dependent whether to transfer him in or transfer him out, or transfer him or don't transfer him, or flip a coin? Maybe Walsh's balls are feeling one way or another. What the fuck do we do with this?
Well, they do play first, but it's later. There's no early game this weekend.
So
it's a lot later than normal. And it's also like our daylight savings is Saturday night. So the Sunday games are back to being early, but the Saturday games are a little bit later.
Okay.
With that said, they do have Champions League, so it's a dead rubber. But
he's not. He already said he's not going to play.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I still feel like in the case of Haaland, right? We have so much value tied up with him, and they have home Brentford in 16, and he's saying like he's going to play a part in the Fulham game or whatever. I'm still just captaining him, and holding him.
That's what
I'm not even considering. I'm just not even considering that as a spot that I'm looking at. I'm looking elsewhere in my team. I just don't see that that's like a good use of transfers. Or
what if there's a leak and he's
process.
not in the? What if there's a leak and he's not in the squad again though?
I would probably look like I would try to upgrade a defender or do something maybe with Pereira to get someone who I like more in that spot. But
because you just need him in 16, you think, if he plays in 16?
I mean,
basically?
I want him in 16. It's a week later. I expect, I would expect by then, unless if it's something drastic where it's like, yeah, he's done till after the World Cup. Like, okay, well, maybe
surgery or some shit. Yeah,
but I don't think that the value is nothing. I mean, it's a lot. Right. I mean, I bought him at like 11.5 or whatever. So, he'll drop a little bit. Yeah. I mean, he'll drop a little bit if he misses a couple more. I mean, maybe it's not that. Maybe if you sell now, I could sell him at 11.8 and he's 12.2. So if he drops down to like 12, then maybe that's not that big of a deal. But I also don't really see like that many other strikers where I'm like, holy shit, like this is a great. Oh yeah, there are all these other great striker options that I want. Like Kane plays Liverpool. Yeah, I mean, like,
I'd probably get Kane to
but
interrupt for a sec. I'd like home Liverpool are bottom third defensive team right now. They're just conceding big chances in front. Spurs are the absolute worst nightmare for Liverpool, the way they set up with 9 defenders and 2 really good strikers, and then Spurs in 16 have home lead. So like there is obviously opportunity because if Haaland doesn't play both games and you are one of the people who risked it and made the move and got points, then like obviously that's really good. Right. But yeah, the risk can't be understated because if he starts home Fulham, he has Penta return in there,
Septa return.
Hepta return, it's like fucking, he could do anything in that game and everyone will still have him and everyone who owns him will still have him capped. So if that happens, you're fucked. But I guess with the late start, I mean, fucking leaks, dude. Why are leaks still a part of this game? I couldn't tell you, but everyone, all the elite teams didn't even have him have him capped because they all are just leak merchants.
No, I mean, I think that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing, right? Like Liverpool, I think is bad, but it's actually great for attacking fixture
for Spurs. Yeah, like that is ideal for them.
And I mean, the other, I'm like starting to think more about like the team value aspect and how much value you have in a specific player, right? There aren't, good premiums in the game right now. So, losing a couple shekels on this is probably not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
If you could really spike some actual points in the bush versus the hand for these 2 game weeks, if he's going to miss, and you see an opportunity there, that I'm not going to, tell anyone like that's bad or dumb.
Yeah. It's just really risky. Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll find out more. It's like what they should just like really look at the game from this perspective of like with the leaks and stuff is like
it's the stupidest fucking thing in the world.
Just change the rule so that you can make your fucking change until the minute of the game, like the Champions League.
Yeah.
It's just like
every fantasy game. We've been playing fantasy sports our whole life. Every game works like that except FPL.
Baseball.
And FPL's solution,
the ball's fucking hiked in football. It's like
FPL's solution is no, we're just going to move the deadline further back
so that people can't
stop leaking. Like these leakers are just like scum humans who like work for. They probably clean the toilets at the club and like snap a picture of like a team sheet or something. Like they're just scum
in the urinal.
Yeah, like they're literally not
going through the garbage in the bathroom.
They're not fans of whatever fucking club they work for because they're literally leaking information out that's bad for the team. It's like a fucking joke. And they're like gaining tens of thousands of followers on social media because the rules of the game And also, they want this to be a global game where the way this works is like if you live in the UK, the leak is really convenient and you make changes to your team. And if you live anywhere else in the fucking world, it's really inconvenient and terrible.
But it's also just the aspect of the game where you can follow these Twitter accounts to try and game the field to get this. It's like, that's not fun. You know,
It's
like no
so
one is
fucking stupid.
like no one, it's not like FPL, like fantasy, like sleuth investigative journalism league. It's like just fucking make it so it's fun. Like no one gives a fuck about these leaks. Like these stupid ass Twitter accounts that are saying like blah 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 needs arrest. Like go fucking die.
Yeah,
it doesn't. No one cares. Like just fucking change the rule. It's so easy.
Influencer accounts have like people DMing them like, mate, I think blah blah blah, and they literally have an advantage over everyone else playing the game. How is that good?
It's like, oh my god, like it's Patterson, not Coleman.
Yeah.
Spam. It's like, fuck, nobody fucking just change the fucking rules so you can make the changes after the official team sheet comes out of the first slate. It's so easy to do that. Everybody. Literally everybody.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
Back to City. Some more City questions. Bear, that was a good job by us, by the way. I think we haven't talked about that in a while. But Bear said, would you rather have Cancelo or Kevin the last two matches?
That's
Probably
not
Kev,
even, come
right?
on. What are we talking about
Kev
here?
it's just Kev, dude.
Kev is fucking, dude, Pep is so fucking
Oh my god, what was the quote again?
It's like, we have done everything together but sleep. We've done everything but sleep together. We know each other the last 7 years. We know each other so well. It's so good.
It's so good.
Oh my
Also,
God.
like, Fulham
could you
and
imagine
Brenham?
sleeping with Kevin? Oh my god, that would be so good.
I'm good on that, but yeah.
I'm fucking not good on that. I would jump at that. Are you kidding me? Let's go.
Jitterbug said, if Holland's out until the World Cup, who's the best third City asset after Cancelo and Kev? Yeah, what? The next two are also Foden. Yeah, the next two are also Foden questions, so this is good. Al said, what do we do with Foden? Hope he gets back in the starting lineup, or do we just bin him for someone who's nailed? And Bill said, would you consider benching or transferring out Foden if he starts in the midweek Champions League fixture? I mean, if he starts in the Champions League fixture, he's
obviously starting in the Champions League game.
That is bad.
He's obviously starting. He's gonna start in the fucking.
I can't wait for Pep's
goals.
book in 30 years where we find out what Jack and Foden did behind the scenes after every win, because there's no other reason that he's just dropped to oblivion. Like, he did something fucked, and it's they have all the lawyers and money in the world to hide it from the media, and he's just.
I know. It's also insane because like even these, like we talked about it with the Brighton game when he came on, but even he played for 10 minutes in the Leicester game. He was unbelievable. Like he was so good.
It's
in
not
the 10 minutes.
quality.
I know, it's just insane. It's like he's just chilling, like not playing while they score a goal on a fucking set piece.
They
it's like, what are you doing?
Won. That was like
they should have. Yeah, that was a draw.
Yeah.
That was a draw. On balance, that was a draw game for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, it's in theory Foden, but like he's probably not going to start. And so if Holland's out, I mean, I don't know. Gundo's going to be on pens and get some chances. Kanji keeps starting every game. Yeah, Bill is playing regularly.
Yeah.
I do think Gundo is still the one of the two of them that's like he could just have a brace in any of these games, especially with the pens.
He was really bad against Leicester, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, everyone kind of was, I thought, but City just like didn't do anything. But
I don't know. What do you think about Alvarez? Is he just, I thought he was actually atrocious against Leicester.
I thought he was really, really bad, but in a better fixture,
Fulham. Could be a shout.
Yeah, I think if Holland isn't playing, I think Alvarez is like maybe best captain of the week.
No, not better than Kevin.
I think so.
No, come on.
I do.
We've barely seen this player play. I don't even know if he's good.
I mean, I've seen him play a little bit here and there, and he usually scores, and like he's Champions League, he's donging and stuff like that.
Okay, that's a little step too far. But
I mean,
that is, I think that's insane. But I think transferring straight up Holland to Alvarez is reasonable if we have definitive information that Holland's out.
Yeah, I can do Holland to Alvarez, Mitro to Kane. Okay. Interested in that. Where should we go next? Oh, this is good. This is for you. This is all for you.
Oh, God.
You're an inspiration. Richard, the Forest fan, says, not so much a question, I just need you to tell me it's all going to be okay.
It's not going to be okay. Your team's going to get fucking relegated, Richard, to the flamp. You're going to the flamp, baby.
Pix Nick said, any words of positive encouragement would be good for me. And then Viking said, kind of going off of what both of them just said, I'm sitting around 2 million like Walsh with every decision going wrong at the minute. Strategies going forward, do I go safe or just fuck it and do whatever? I've never related to someone more than Walsh this season.
I don't know what to say.
You're an inspiration, dude.
My inspiration.
You're like the Joker.
Thanks, fucking pod partner. I'm like the Joker. Great. Yeah, I'm smiling through my tears.
What can you do to these lost souls? What can you give them anything?
No, I mean it's there's still over half the season left. I think it's still one of those where I still feel like I could do okay this season.
Absolutely.
I still think I could get like a top 100K finish. I think you just need to put your money in the right places and have a couple of dice rolls coming your way. But we see there are these explosive players that get these like double, triple returns.
Yep.
You just keep doing good captaincy kept making good captaincy picks. That was a tough one for me.
You'll get there.
You just have a good rotation, stable defense. Like I feel like the template is there. You just cheapen defense, target fixtures, do the normal things, and you could still rise. But I don't think you have to do something like complete insane shit like triple on Spurs attack or something.
Yeah, I don't actually have the data. I don't know if there's a website that like compiles past season data, but there's plenty of fucking really good managers who have been in the millions at this point in the season and end up having really good seasons. I mean, the thing that also opens up, and maybe Holland will just cancel this entire thing out because, if he's fit all season, he's going to be captain all season. But also late in the season, like differential caps start playing a role traditionally in FPL, where it's like everyone's on blah 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 and you see something else and you can those are ways to fly. So it's we're not even halfway through the season and we get a free wild card in 2 weeks. So
there's a lot of action there.
There's a lot to gain still. Let's jump to some other questions.
I think we need to talk about Liverpool. I think we've waited long enough.
Yeah. Oh, what do you have to say?
Well, they're just so dysfunctional. It's kind of like it's becoming theme on the pod. We talk about it every week of like how fucked up are they and how fucked up do they look? And they're like, when they do win, it's like barely. And when they lose, it's like, oh yeah. To lose at NFO and home leads, like listening to Anfield Rap over the last few weeks, since I've been like a subscriber, since Klopp's come in, it's never even remotely come close to the tone that they're taking right now of just like, this is a complete like self-destruct.
Except for 2 seasons ago.
Well, but that I don't consider that the same thing because of like the center back stuff. Like it's like that's like whatever. We knew what that was. This is like what the actual fuck is going on, because sure we have injuries, but by all intents and purposes, we should not be losing games to NFO and Leeds and such. It just feels like don't want anything to do with them. And I'm stuck with Salah now, but I can't imagine any world in the fucking life of planets that I have him coming out of the World Cup, which, is something we'll touch on later, obviously, after the World Cup.
Yeah, I think this encapsulates sort of why I haven't brought them up yet on this episode is because I just feel so differently about everything. I think that, and this is sort of like an answer to the original LR question, why I'm doing well this season, is because I've been able to separate what Liverpool are IRL and what their assets are in fantasy. They're still like top 2 or 3 attack in the league by every possible metric. Goals, most on pace for over 200 points. Their FPL assets are fine. I still think Mo's a good pick. Darwin's a good pick. IRL is like an entirely different discussion, and they've been broken for all season. They've been broken the whole season, and I luckily identified that really early and wildcarded them all out in Game Week 4 except Mo. But like that's why I haven't brought them up, because I almost feel like they're not even relevant in FPL right now, because I still think Mo's a good pick. He's not necessary, and you're not capping him, so like don't break your back to get him. But if you own him, he's still a good pick. I'm happy to have him for the next 2 game weeks. He's probably going to score goals, and they'll eventually get a pen this season. But yeah, IRL, it's obviously just completely shattered, broken situation, but just everything's completely fucked. Yeah, I think Trent in the postgame was even like, we're just trying to get to the break, basically, at this point. Like, we're just trying to do anything to get to the break. Yeah. And, they did the stuff they needed to do in the Champions League. They're still definitely in the top 4 race. I think, like, 3rd and 4th are pretty open right now. And, that's why I haven't brought them up. It's Mo's just good goal, 7 shots, good XG, like, that's why I have them. Just score goals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just Mo's not a good pick, though. He's not an 8 million midfielder. He's fucking the most expensive player in the game.
Which is what I've said. That's what I've been saying for like 3 weeks now. I'm like, listen, you don't need Mo by any stretch of the imagination. But he's
not a good pick.
But the reason I still have him is because there's no one else I want.
I understand that, but he's not a good pick.
Well, he's a good pick because he gets points. Why is that? Like, he's not value because we're not captaining him, but you can't. He's just on pace for like 220 points, like normal. Like,
by saying someone's a good pick, it has to take into account their price. He has 4 goals and 4 assists. He's at 7, 2, 3, 8, 2, 5, 3. This is Rashford. He's twice as expensive. Like, it's not a good pick. Like, yes, I agree with you. You're not like, there are these 4 other picks that are obviously better for cheaper. So make the transfer, but that doesn't mean that he's a good pick. Like, I feel like that's the difference.
Yeah. So how do I define it? Like, he's a good pick for my team. He's a good pick for your team.
Well, I don't think he's a good pick for my team. I think I'm kind of just stuck with him. Like, I think he's a bad pick.
I have Holland and Kev, and I have guys at every other position that I'm happy with. Therefore, having someone who gets more points than most of the other mids in the game is good. You know what I mean? I don't know how to define it. Yeah.
No, that's fine. But it's like, we're not going to get Son. Like, he just blanks. He's cheaper. Like, where do you go? But that just is, whatever. We're getting into, I guess, semantics, but
it's just, it's a weird semantics thing, because I agree. He's not value, not captain. And usually that equals just bad FPL pick. But I think it's just also part of it is just a really unique season where there's a lot of really good cheap picks. There's no good premium defenders except Cancelo. And we're just in this place where, like, I'm sitting here, I have fucking Mo, Kev, Holland, and 2 million in the bank. Like, your normal seasons having like 3 premium is like you have 0 in the bank and you're fucking bare bones and you're starting bad 4-0 defenders every week. And I'm just like chilling, Right. So it's just a weird fucking season where, like, it doesn't kill you to have, not value everywhere in your attack. But yeah, if you're wild carding, like, definitely don't need him in your team at all. You could probably build a way better team without him.
I just think there's also this like dissonance between, good underlying stats and whatever the XG says he's doing, and, watching them play is like, okay, I understand that from that perspective, that 7 shots, good XG, like, watching them play, it's a tire fire. Like, they are an absolute mess every game. I don't know what they're doing. You don't know who's playing where. You don't know what formations. There's so many changes. There's the left wing's injured. Like, so I feel like it's in spite of, not like, oh yeah, that's gonna boo. It's buoying him because he's still a world class player, but it's still just looking at the team is the stench, right? It is concerning.
way lesser extent, it reminds you of the Matto discussion like earlier in the season, right? It's like Leicester literally in 20th in like,
Right.
whenever it was, like game week 5 or 6 or whatever. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, Matto's just a fucking good pick. It doesn't matter, right? Like he just gets all their shots and chances and like,
But he also hasn't been a good, like he had the one NFL at home game where he exploded.
Well,
and then
yeah,
he's just been terrible. Like he has 1 goal in 5. It's like that's terrible. So
yeah, and I got rid.
right.
But yeah, it's like a similar type of thing, and pens and whatever. But
well, they don't get pens, so he's not. You might as well not even think
still,
about it.
in theory, he's on them. It'd be funny if he got one and he missed. Like it's like finally,
hilarious, real hilarious, funny.
But yeah, I mean that like we're spending a lot of time on Liverpool, whatever, but it's like what you just said is why also I'm like, yeah, they're not relevant. Like people still have Trent.
Yeah.
Like this is like a Lombardi type of rant. It's like you gotta watch the fucking tape. Like I don't care if your fucking calculator says to get Trent because he used to be a really good FPL asset. Watch any Liverpool game this season. Doesn't matter if it's NFO, fucking Rangers. The other team gets massive chances all the time. Like if your attack is struggling, you need to play Liverpool. That is the best way to like cure your attack because you're just gonna wide open space. You're gonna 4v2s. You're gonna get fucking uncontested everything, and people are still bringing in Trent. You got to watch the fucking tape. Give me a fucking break that the fucking algorithm is saying. You have to marry the stats with what you're actually seeing and what's actually happening. You can't just blindly follow the thing that says to get the thing.
Yeah, but people that do that don't watch games. So how could they do that?
Watch fucking highlights. They're free on YouTube. Like I don't know.
People that do it and don't even like footy. They just want to play this game and read numbers on a screen or whatever, and then they just click buttons.
It's fucking crazy. That to me is just like you are just like not playing. You know nothing. You know nothing if you're doing that.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
I love that Harry Potter line. Let's go to other questions. Jitterbug said, with all the red flags and injuries coming now, would you rather take hits to avoid starting players like Hogelbaum versus City, Gomez versus Spurs, or just hope for the best? So I'm curious what you think here, because this is very, very relevant to my team, where I just have like this week is just like nightmare because both my Spurs wingbacks are home Liverpool. My fucking Fulham guys are at City. He's at West Ham. I'm like, fuck, is this the week where I take hits and go down in rank? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that was the one thing I was thinking. I didn't bring it up, but the Doc transfer was like the old you. That was not the new you kind of move,
Yeah.
Because that was like you're adding a problem into your team when you really need to shore it up in some way. I don't know who you would have gotten instead of him, but either way.
Doc and Cess, but Cess has been great for me.
No, I don't think that's because Cess was like your 5th player, but Doc is compounding, because then it puts more stress on Gahey and it doesn't, make the unit. Right. Either way. No, I mean, we have 2 game weeks, so hits are the worst that they could possibly be. The only time that hits are going to be worse is next game week.
Yeah.
when you have to spike it.
And game week 38.
Yeah, right. So, no, I think taking hits is insane. You should not do it.
Yeah, and Tree followed up and said, is it worth taking a -4 to replace a flagged player instead of just starting Pereira against City away? And it's one of those really hard things. The patience has been like the best thing all season for anyone who's doing well. I think patience has basically been the main reason why. I don't think people who are jumping around, capping and shit like that are doing well this year so far. And City are not the fortress that they've been in seasons past. And I'm like, Pereira, it's obviously the worst fixture in the league. Not gonna beat around the bush and say it's good. But, he's going to play up top with Mitro. They're just going to counter. He's going to fucking shoot at will. Like, it's not pretty, but are you going to net -4, bring in someone who's going to make that up? Like, probably not. Most players blank most weeks. So it's very unlikely that you're going to benefit from that. Yeah.
Yep.
Gray Hair said, is it madness to hold on to Mo for the last two before World Cup? There you go. He said Liverpool looked like completely broken, but it feels like Mo could still nick a return or two.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it is. You're hoping he nicks something, but the other side of the coin is where are you going? There's just no pick. There's no. I mean, it's not like Saka just got hurt. City, who's going to play? But this, I will say this: if you have two if you have two City players, you have Mo, you don't have Kevin, you're absolutely fucking out of your mind, insane to not do that transfer. So. Other than that, I think you just hold them.
City's last two, again, for those who weren't paying attention earlier, are home Fulham, home Brentford.
Yeah.
No cap on the amount of goals there. Catfink said, what attackers should we prioritize this week? Western City, NFO probably have the best fixtures. But Everton, Brighton, United, Newcastle, all a mix of good fixtures or in form, so it's a tough decision. So, yeah, who are we targeting for these last two with our 2 frees or 3 frees?
It's honestly, I was spending some time today looking at, the 2 fixtures in tandem. It's really hard. I don't think anything is really loud of this team has 2, other than City, which is fucking stupid to continue talking about. Right. I mean, and NFL is not a team. It doesn't matter who they play. It's really just one good, one bad. I mean, Villa is a question mark because they could be horrendous, or they could just be a competent bus. We don't really know which one of those two are
bus, but maybe Emmy's concussed and who knows.
Yeah, I mean, we know Olsen's really bad. I mean, we have enough. We've seen him play enough to know that. Yeah, I think West Ham is very interesting. Home Palace, home
Leicester is probably a top 3 fixture pairing for the last 2 of the season. And And Bowen's fit, which we didn't know, last pod. So that's interesting. And, we did get questions on that. Michigan said, I have Bowen. Do I move him to Saka, even though he has good fixtures? And someone else asked about Scam. Oh, Sigurd said, I have Scam. He feels like a huge scam, but he has great fixtures. Do I transfer him out for Callum or DCL or keep? Definitely don't get DCL, but... yeah, I mean, that's an interesting one with West Ham. Good. I like for cleans, and I like for just winning those games. Those are just good.
Yeah, I mean, Scam's tough because it does
really
feel
tough.
I mean, he played 56, 70. I mean, it feels like Moyes just looks for a reason to kind of rip him off, and how much patience he has for betting in these kind of new talents. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Allaire, right? I mean, where it's just he's being misused,
but
and
to
the team
be fair,
is not.
And I feel like he's misusing one, but he's using Antonio the best imaginable way also while misusing the other, right? It's Antonio for 20 minutes is so good. That's exactly just sprint, go fucking nuts on everyone. That's the ideal way to use Antonio. So I get it.
Yeah. But, not having Paqueta is a big deal. I mean, where are they creating? I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm interested in Cresswell. That's what I'm kind of feeling wanting to do is to get Cresswell in because, we haven't talked much about him this season, honestly, but he's back. He has, I don't know how he has no assists yet, but this reminds me very much of, him 2 years ago when he had 11 assists where he's just on all this, he's on set pieces again. Right. And, not all of them, but some, and they're just, when we see defenders on set pieces, that's a good job by them. And he's just creating a lot of chances. So I feel like he should be in more teams. He's going to be getting some good, 11, 12 pointers coming up. And home, dude, we are so fucking bad on the road. And I think that's a really easy clean. And, Leicester have, it's medium, it's not amazing, but
it's not a banker,
for a clean sheet.
It's not, but it's
pretty
good.
They could do. We've seen Leicester just kind of not function. So, I do really like the defense a lot more than the attack. I think I just don't see any options that I'm really in love with.
Well, I mean, the obvious one is Bowen, right? He doesn't get subbed, whereas Skamaka does get subbed. He's just been not really hitting the stride. Early season, he was doing all the stuff that we like, not early season. He just had a few fixtures in the middle there where it was Bowen looks like a really good pick here. We talked about it a lot.
He had 2 games with returns all season, and the assist should not have counted.
But
So-
even like in that stretch, like he was scoring in Europe and shit too. Now he's just not scoring anywhere and not getting shots. You know, his shots in the last 4 are 1, 1, 1, 2. You know, and obviously he took the pen and missed it, and now he's probably off pen, so that's bad. But is this the case where the fixtures are so good, breed form, he gets 4 shots, he scores in each game, West Ham easily, like 2-0 or whatever? I could see that. I could definitely see that. So it's hard.
Yeah, I'm not willing to spend a transfer and push my chips in the middle for that.
Yeah, it's just hard because there's not that many other great transfers.
Yeah.
Tio said, who's the best budget sub 7.5 million?
Before we go, that a Gerd guy came back. What's his deal? Who's he going to push
supposed to
out?
be a good center back. I think he's just going to start next to Zuma. Maybe Dawson's on the bench and Kerr's the right back. It seems like to me.
Okay. Because he's just going to take Dawson's spot.
I think so.
Because before they were playing.
Well, unless they go back to 3 at the back.
It doesn't seem like that's happening. Yeah, okay.
But he hasn't actually played yet, right?
I think he started in the Europe game.
In Europe? Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure I saw his name on that. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Sorry, go.
No, yeah. Tio's just best budget forward that isn't called Callum. So I guess he already owns Callum because it is Callum. But
yeah, it's definitely Callum for right now.
Cheaper than Callum. Tough call there.
Maybe Solanke. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It is Dom, actually.
That Leeds, and then, Home Everton's not good, but...
Yeah, the 2 bad fixtures were bad, even though he hockey assisted both Spurs goals because he's just that good. But yeah, at Leeds, Home Everton, it's good. I think those are great games for him.
There's no
one else I really like.
Yeah.
Maybe Diego Costa. What do you think? Cheeky little 97th minute headbutt. He can't resist himself. Oh no, I started a fucking coughing spree on the fucking dog face.
The best thing about it is that the World Cup's going to happen and come back, and he's still banned for the game after that.
That is so good.
I love that. Like, it's going to be so long.
Yeah, he's not going to play football for fucking 2 months or
just
something.
like World Cup's back. Like, yeah, we're fully fit. Like, everyone's here. Dog face Gabo.
Yeah, we still don't have a
serving his suspension still for headbutting, and then the game's gone.
Fucking awesome. Jeff D just asking our thoughts on the ABBA derby. Chelsea Arsenal this week.
I mean, I'm really looking forward to watching the game. I'll tell you that much.
Chelsea clearly still finding themselves. You know, they don't know their best team. They don't know their best shape. They don't know much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the lines look like, but if I were a betting man right now, I would lump on Chelsea money line because that feels like, it just feels like this is one of those where it's like they go to the bridge, tails up, and it's just they just leave like frustrated and disgruntled.
Yeah,
I feel like the odds would. I feel like the odds would be kind to that wager.
Yeah,
I think Chelsea win the game.
Like a 2-1 or something.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting, man. I don't really remember Arsenal Brighton games, how those went, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm excited to watch.
Yeah,
I still only have Martinelli. I don't know. Saka might be hurt. That's really bad for Arsenal if he's hurt.
Is it?
Yeah, he's good.
You know who else is good?
Reece Nelson. Reece. Sounds Complex said, who would you prefer, natural selection or theology, aka Darwin versus Jesus? Good one there.
What?
Darwin versus Jesus for the last 2.
Is this like an Allison, like Bolsonaro comment that I'm not understanding, or what?
No, natural selection like Darwin.
Oh, I got it.
Or theology like Jesus.
Yeah.
So Liverpool are at Spurs, home Southampton. Arsenal are at Chelsea, at Wolves. Not good for either, but Wolves are the worst team of all of those.
Yeah, I'm taking Jesus there for sure.
Yeah, he got the 2 assists.
I mean, he missed fucking 8 chances.
Well,
as he does.
Yeah, I think it's still Jesus. Yeah, he also plays 90 every game and shit. Who knows what
the team's working?
Yeah, the team's looking good. Camille said, should we continue to exercise patience with Wilf, or has his involved in everything role changed? That's a tough call, because he really, I mean, I didn't watch the game live, I only watched highlights, but he was really involved in stuff. He was like putting really dangerous balls across. He was winning the ball back hockey, assisting chances, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
It's a mess. Get red.
Yeah. Yeah, Palace are struggling. Yeah.
I mean, and also with Ducore injured, he's not going to be on Pens. Millie's playing.
You think so?
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Oh, wow. That's bad.
No, absolutely.
That was a classic game that Palace blow, by the way, that they didn't blow. The Southampton game.
Yeah, I
up
agree.
1-0. We should chances for fun.
We shouldn't have won the game. We should not. That was a draw. We should have just drawn that game.
Yeah.
We were not better by any stretch.
Huge Guaita points for me.
Yeah,
Huge.
but I mean, at West Ham and at NFO are really bad fixtures. Very, very, very bad for Zaha, I think.
I do not think, and clean sheets. Nightmare.
And clean sheets. Yeah. Well, not and at NFO is good.
At NFO, I guess is good, but at West Ham, nightmare.
It's still us away. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a bad job. I think you're pretty okay to sell Zaha now, because we were really last week talking about it was really clinging on to Southampton. If we we fucking destroy Southampton at home, he gets points. Okay, you can back into these two tougher aways and hope that he has something, right? But when we watched us struggle to that extent, yeah, I think it's a pretty easy spot to look at shifting him for someone else if you can afford to.
Only a few more questions. Sutton said, replacements for Mitro are uninspiring if you can't go up in price. Is it really worth the transfer? Is it better to just roll for a double move in 16? I mean, I don't know, man. Is rolling ever good if you can just transfer him out for Dom or something? He's at, what do we do with Mitro, right? He has 10 shots against Everton. He just shoots nonstop, absolute beast.
Were any of them even remotely close to being reasonable? They were ridiculous
I just don't
headers,
know if it matters,
shots
though, right?
that fucking suck.
But
I think it matters. Not all shots are created equal.
For sure, but I mean, with him, he is volume, right? He has the goal. I think it was a defensive error against Arsenal, but he scores a banger versus Spurs. He's scoring against everyone. It's rarely been kept out this year. And on Pens, I mean, is this transferring out a good pick, or is this just a nightmare for the last two? I can't really decide.
No, I think it's a nightmare. I think it's absolutely a nightmare. I think at City, they would need to fucking hand of God give them a gifted penalty for him to score a goal against them, I feel like. Or they score, he has a header on one of their 3 corner kicks.
Yeah, I mean, Marco Silva's so psycho that he's gonna get a couple chances.
I don't agree. I don't see it that way. I mean, I think Home United too I feel like Manchester United. There's something else historically the last few years where we're that's not that bad of it. I think that's an awful fixture. Manchester United defense is very good this year.
Yeah, it's been
they're
solid.
Just very good. And home away, I don't fucking care. If you're playing Manchester United, you're not looking at that fixture thing. You're just going to put 3 past or something. You might get one. That
you're
game
not
at home,
expecting that.
Yeah,
with
maybe he gets a chance and a half against Manchester United, but I don't think he's going to get enough where I'm I feel okay that he's going to return that game. I mean, they're just 2 really bad fixtures. So getting rid feels absolutely fine to me. But
I guess I'm mostly with I have an eye on my team, which we'll get to in a sec, but I have a lot of bad picks for this specific week. Right. I'm Mitro's probably not the worst of them.
Okay.
Just in terms of he's good. He's on Pens. They're all out attack. He shoots on a million times a game. But of course, the fixtures are bad. It's definitely the type of guy where I'm I want to transfer him out immediately. But, I don't know.
He's on 4 yellow cards.
Yeah. Fabrizio said, I can afford Callum and Kev for Dom and Foden. Is that worth -4 so close to the World Cup? I mean, Jesus Christ, those are good moves.
I wouldn't do that at all.
I mean, Dom, Callum, whatever. Callum's a better pick, but Dom's still a good pick. But Foden to Kev is insanely good.
For a hit?
How does he have this much money?
Because it's, you get money everywhere. I don't know. I mean, Dom's leads good. That's good. Foden, love Foden, genius. I don't think that's a good hit. I don't know.
I do feel like Kev might just like solo payback for that hit.
It depends. I think we need more Haaland information, because if Haaland is out, then Kev is the best captain again. So
and that makes it better.
Maybe you're swaying that.
But, that makes it a lot better if you're capping Kev. Yeah. Last question was Callum. He said, what defenders would you dead end into until the World Cup for pervs, myself included, sitting on Cess?
I mean, it's back to West Ham for me.
Yeah, West Ham's great.
Yeah,
great
I like West Ham.
What do you think about Everton? Home Leicester at Bournemouth.
Yeah, I mean, I have Patterson. I'm just kind of just worried if he's going to start. You know, I mean, he played 20. You know, he looked like he was, totally fine. But the issue with them is like the fixtures are like, when I compare them to West Ham, right? This is kind of the question we had a few pods ago about like, what do you look for, right? None of their defenders, I feel like, have attacking threat whatsoever. Like, I don't buy Cody goals. You know, I mean, I don't believe in that. So when I see someone like Cresswell who has some set pieces and shit, where I'm like, okay, you know, the fixtures are more or less a wash. I feel like the clean sheet potential more or less a wash. Like, that's the tipping scale for me to be like, okay, I want that. Even like, you know, I don't know. I do. Yeah, I just don't feel like Brighton have clean sheets in them. Like, I feel like they clean by accident.
I don't agree. I think they possess really well, and it was Chelsea. I mean, they were fucking. I know they conceded a million chances, but like they're playing at Wolves' home Villa.
I don't know.
Like, I just think that those are like overwhelmingly good. The only thing that is tough is that like Perv isn't nailed, and he's by so much the guy that you would want, because he is actually good at attacking and in the box and stuff. And Dunk is Dunk has 6 shots this season. Like, I don't know what happened to Lewis of Dunk, but he's not the same guy that he once was.
I mean, Webster.
Yeah, Webster.
I guess you would take
shots.
Webster over Dunk.
Yeah.
I guess, but
I guess so.
It's total
like they don't get if they get something.
They don't get bonus. Like, they barely keep clean. It's like, you know, I mean, I'm not.
That's the thing. It's Perv.
Yeah.
I think Perv is like a pretty good punt for the last 2. If someone's just making a one transfer for a defender,
I don't agree at all. I think that's a terrible pick. I mean, just the concern over his start and security of minutes.
It's really so scary.
High. It's so high to me. I feel like that's just, you're shooting yourself in the foot when you have somewhat reasonable picks, you know, in other teams that you know are going to play 180.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, let's do our teams quick. I mean, every week it's like we'll see with the pressers, and then once we see the pressers, it's like we'll see the leak, because it's all that fucking matters. But like, I don't know, what are you thinking with your team right now?
I mean, I think I need to do something with defense. Basically, because I don't really want to. Right now, I would have to start, I think, Patterson, and I don't feel like he's going to start. And even if he does,
that's a good start.
Home Leicester, I'm just like, I don't know.
I think it's a good start.
But I don't think he's going to start.
Oh, you don't think he's going to start? You don't think he's ready to start?
Yeah, I mean, he just missed like a lot of time. I mean, he's out for like almost 2 months, and then he played 26 off the bench.
Why do you need... Like, you're definitely starting Trips, Tomiyasu, and Dalot, right?
No, I mean, I'm not starting Tommy at Stamford Bridge. I don't want to start him.
I guess. I mean, I probably still would.
No, I think that's a terrible start. I don't want to do that. And I mean, my front 7, I don't have to touch. Like, I don't need to do anything there, unless if I do some diddling with Haaland, which is possible. You know, I could revisit that, you know, later on.
Right.
But I mean, basically, I want to upgrade that third defender spot. I think that's the best shout I have for points. I mean, because I have 2 frees and we have 2 games left. So what am I really doing?
Yeah.
You know, where am I getting
guess it's
points?
like
I don't know.
I mean, it's exactly what I just said. It's like, wait to the leak and like have a plan if Foden's not in the team, have a plan if Haaland's not in the team, I guess. And if not, then you just do a defensive move or something. So you really want Cresswell. So you're doing Cresswell, I assume?
Yeah, I would like Cresswell, but I don't have a way to really get him, honestly, with my, I have nothing in the bank. So, I mean,
Sass, right?
Yeah, but he's 4.5, so I have to find like 0.3. So I could do Pope.
Fuck.
I could get rid of Pope for someone.
That's not worth it.
Well, they play Chelsea in 16, so I mean, it's just as strictly I need to find 0.3. So where is that? Like, where's the least painful 0.3 I could find?
Yeah.
I mean, it also might just be in Tomiyasu to an actual non-player, like a 3-9 guy. I could do that because if I get Cresswell in, I would probably want to start in the last two. I could start Dalot.
Yeah.
I could start Dalot.
At Fulham. Good fixtures. Yeah.
At Fulham isn't great for a clean.
No, it's pretty bad, but at Villa's great.
Yeah. So, or I could also then start Patterson at Bournemouth maybe instead. So, I mean, I could look at that.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm looking at. I don't know. Is there anything in attack? I mean, I have Holland, but is there anything in attack you see for me? Or
the only scary thing is Foden to me, where it's just like if he's actually bombed out or something, then like fuck. But
that's not the case. Like we're not going to know anything. He starts.
We'll get a leak. We'll get a leak.
Okay.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, assume everyone got a leak last week. I wasn't awake at 5
I wasn't up either. What was the nature of the leak? Do you know?
I think that guy Sam Lee just tweeted like the full 11 and it was like Holland's not in the squad. This is the team or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if that happens, then I could plan accordingly.
Yeah. So we'll have to see with that, I guess.
What about you? What are you gonna
My
do?
team is really, I feel pretty lost. Not sure what to do.
Okay. Well, we have My Life coming up, so
yeah, we have My Life coming up too. But so obviously Holland dependent, don't know, whatever. But I have Mitro at City. I haven't changed this lineup, this configuration at all yet. But I have Mitro at City. I have Pereira at City. I have Sesson, Dock, home Liverpool, and I have Gahey at West Ham. I mean, those feel like I don't want to start any of those.
Well, you got to at minimum put Gahey in and get your fucking Spurs guys out of there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll sort that
just
whenever.
Do it right now
because you can't even look at it.
This is bothering me. Yeah.
Okay.
Put Pereira back in. Put him.
Yeah, you like that?
Put him in for Cesc. Get Cesc out.
Okay.
Yeah. Now push it and put Reed first on the bench.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good chance of a Spurs wing back getting an attacking return, by the way. So
there always is, but
I would probably rather start them than Gahey, to be honest. If I had a clear indication of which one was going to start,
I'll tell you the clear indication: Royale and Perisic.
No, it's going to be Perisic and Doc, I think, versus Marseille, because that's first choice, and then we'll see, for the weekend. But
first choice.
It just is. He just is. I mean, it's proof is in the pudding, brother.
That is one other thing, dude. They're going to be playing that's a fucking huge game for them in Champions League for the Spud innings.
Huge game.
So they could be a little.
That's
bit
why they saved Doc
Liverpool
for the first choice because he's first choice because he needs to play.
Yeah, your team's fucking mess this week, dude.
I know it's so hard, and I have only one free, but I have 2.1 in the bank. So the original thought was I'd just go Mitro to Jesus, great pick. But there's any number of things I could do, especially if Holland's out. I could take a hit. Seems bad.
I think you might be better off doing it on Pereira. Or Reed. I'm wishing to do your transfer on Reed.
I know. Now I really regret that transfer last week, but I genuinely thought I wouldn't have 11 players.
Yeah.
Because I was worried about the Spurs fullbacks. I was worried about Holland. I was worried about Dom, So, yeah, I mean, for Reed or Pereira, I can get but only a 6.6 million guy. So it's probably Miggy.
Yeah, probably Miggy.
Miggy or Tross? Is Tross even below 6'6"? No, he's 6'9".
Fuck Tross.
I mean, I like Tross under deserves. He played up top. He was really good. But yeah, it'd probably be Miggy. So I could do either of them to Miggy.
All right.
And we've spent a lot of time this pod saying how bad hits are, but I'm looking at my team and I'm I can really talk myself into a hit here.
No, you don't need a hit here.
I mean, dude, I can do Mitro and either of those mids to Callum and Miggy.
Yeah, that's bad. That's tears for you. That's they win 1-0 with a smallest staff unassisted goal. That
shard a long staff on a corner.
That's how that goes.
Yeah, I'm just saying, there's things to be diddled. If Holland's out, we'll see. We'll see.
We have
no
Champions
need to talk
League.
about
we have
it.
a lot of shit.
But yeah, we're both on Holland /Kev. Let me slap asses. We got 3 new signups. Nice little bump this week. We got Bob Fox, Krishna Vamsi, and Yo, my name's Wallace too. Get the fuck in there, baby. Good job by all of you. I think that's it, brother. Good pod.
Yeah. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Any last words?
See you on Thursday.
See you then, brother. Check us out at FMLFPL. Follow us on Twitter at FMLFPL. Support Patreon.com/FMLFPL. Subscribe, rate, review.